In a recent interview with Anthony Pompliano, entrepreneur and investor Balaji Srinivasan shared his thoughts on the current financial system and the potential role of Bitcoin in shaping its future. Balaji claims that the Federal Reserve and banking regulators knew about the coming collapse but lied to dollar holders and depositors, pointing out that this is also what happened during the 2008 bank crash. Srinivasan backs up his claims with specific links and names, including one from the Fed that revealed that all banks were insolvent. He believes that the regulators allowed the banks to hide their insolvency in footnotes, which led to the destruction of the banks. He also alleges that the rise of Bitcoin and its potential to become the global reserve currency could happen faster than people think, as hyperinflation may cause many to exit the fiat system and buy Bitcoin instead. Let's listen to Balaji.
Just as in 2008, the bankers lied. We forgot how much they had lied to us because that was obviously a huge thing in 2000. They basically almost bankrupted the world economy, lying to us, lying to themselves, some combination of greed, incompetence, malice, or whatever, blowing up the whole world economy, right? This time, the central bankers, the banks, and the bank regulators have lied to all dollar holders and depositors. It's not your typical fractional reserve situation. There is enough in the banks on a mark-to-market basis to cover withdrawals. I call it Uncle Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, that's actually, if you want one line, just like Sam Bankman-Fried, he owed people, let's say, 1,000 Bitcoin, right? But and he had some balance sheet that said his assets added up to 1,000 Bitcoin, and he fooled himself, or he fooled the rest of the company, or whatever it was, into thinking he actually had that. But he was actually like gambling and all this other stuff, and he may marked it at what he had when he bought it, but he didn't have it when people came. And when people actually came, he couldn't liquidate those assets to actually get the Bitcoin that they wanted because he had gone and gambled it, right? And then, of course, the entire exchange collapsed, right? This is basically what has happened, not just at FTX, but at all the banks. All the banks bought long-dated U.S. treasuries as well as other bonds in 2021. They binged on bonds, as I'll show you in a second, okay? Banks are binging on bonds, but not because they want to. See this? Smoking Gun article, right, from 2021 shows enormous increase in buying of all these bonds and less commercial loans. They all got centralized on one guy, Uncle Sam, right? Buy bonds, even if it means skimpy profits. So they have to invest in one of the least lucrative assets around, government debt, guaranteed to produce skimpy profits, right? And actually what happened was basically that all the printed money from 2020 sloshed around the economy, and it cut off the normal flow of normal loans because customers had, high levels of cash in hands. They normally didn't take out loans. So it broke the banking model. So all they did is they put all this enormous amounts of cash into bonds. And when the yield on the treasury note rose to 1.75%, banks hungry for higher returns rushed to buy them. So this was like 1.75% was like a high return in 2021, August 2021, right? And moreover, and that spike didn't last, right? This is a graph of like how much treasury is making. Look at that, just down and to the right, okay? This is a graph of how, meaning they're losing money, okay? Treasury, the central bank is losing money. It doesn't look like normal times, okay? This is a graph of unrealized losses. Okay, and this is really like the core bomb that's blowing up this whole thing. All of these—
And Balaji, just so people understand, the chart that we're looking at here, this is unrealized losses for the banks, the actual large banks, mid-sized banks, small banks. This is their unrealized losses that are sitting on their balance sheets that they don't necessarily have to mark to market.
Yeah, unless you actually come and ask for your dollars. Okay, if you ask for your cash, there'll be an Uncle Sam Bankman-Fried situation where they don't have the dollars on hand to make up for it. But that's what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. That's what happened with other banks. Credit Suisse has now just admitted it was a bank run that got them. In the digital age, bank runs are very fast. Once people hear that something's possibly insolvent, they all just go and pull their money out, right? And so the whole concept of, they'll only ask for this much at this time, that's no longer the case. You could have everybody do an outflow at the same time if it goes viral.
And on that point, I think it's very important to kind of understand that what you're talking about is not just the flow of information being fast, but you're also talking about the fact that now for a bank run to occur, you don't have to go sit in line or stand in line at the bank. You can literally open a new tab, press a couple buttons, and move your money. And so the speed of action matches the speed of information, and that's really what's driving a lot of these problems.
That's exactly right. And so essentially, the digital bank run is, I mean, we were pushed into this era by the Fed, as I'll get to. Basically, these graphs, okay, they're down into the right graphs. They're huge. I mean, this is 2008 for comparison, right? These are enormous, yawning, numbers here, right? And here is, here's the community banks, okay? So these are the commercial banks, and this is the central bank, okay? And then the community banks, here's the Fed admitting that, the rising interest rates have, and again, all this is in jargon, and it's jargon just like, it's like camouflage for a snake. A snake has evolved camouflage. You didn't design the camouflage, but if it didn't have the camouflage, you'd be able to catch it and kill it, right? So all of these words are ways for them to hide the ball from you. Fine print is not simply a tactic, it's their strategy.
To watch the full interview, check out the link below. Do you agree with Balaji that the Fed has been lying to us? What are your thoughts on Bitcoin becoming the global reserve currency? Let us know in the comments. If you want to see more on the world of crypto and tech, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as we put out daily content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.